we have Allison Lee, and she's been on this stage a couple of times, and her bio that she sent in is Allison Lee is a regular person who's slowly recovering from being a good girl. And I'm just gonna say, like, after you hear the story, maybe she wasn't always a good girl. Please welcome Allison, everybody.
This happened 30 years ago, so I can tell you all about it because it's water under the bridge and the statute of limitations has passed. My husband Yost and I were newlyweds. He got a job in Tucson, so we moved out here. We did not have any friends yet. We bought a clunky car and went looking for a place to live. A new acquaintance knew someone who knew someone who needed a house sitter. We were like, yay, free housing. We went to the house. It looked like something out of an architecture magazine, sitting on a large piece of land outside city limits. The owners they showed us the adobe guest house where we would stay. They explained the many chores we would do around the property. We were not allowed to go in the big house unless necessary. They had a strict rule, no visitors. They showed us their large collection of guns. Some antique, some military-looking semi-automatic weapons. They kept loaded handguns in drawers around the big house. The homeowner man said it was for protection from banditos. I hate guns and don't want to look at them, but we said, okay. When the homeowner man was talking to us, he put his hand on Yost's shoulder near his neck and squeezed. Yost hated this and said it felt like it was meant to dominate. The owners gave us a 3-ring binder with many rules about the big house and its complicated alarm system. Then they left to go to their ranch in Montana. We were happily living rent-free in this Shangri-La, skinny dipping in the pool, enjoying the gorgeous view over the city. A month went by leisurely. Then Yost's mother called to say his father had cancer and was in the hospital. We decided to go see his dad and help his mom. We got on the phone and bought airplane tickets for a 10-day visit. We arranged with this college student, Sean, who was a summer intern at Yost's work, to substitute for us as house sitters. We told Sean to stay in the guest house, do the many chores, do not go in the big house. For some reason, we decided not to tell the homeowners we were leaving town. We flew out. We stayed with my in-laws. It felt like the right thing to do, but toward the end of our trip, we saw a story in the local news. It was the 90s. The news was printed on paper and broadcast on TV. It was about a rolling blackout that knocked out the electricity across the western US. It was apparently related to Enron, the energy company, and was a big deal. We were worried about the house, of course. We tried calling Sean on the landline, but there was no answer. Then it was time to fly back to Tucson. When we arrived at the airport, we went straight to the house. Everything looked normal from the outside, but when we used our key to the guest house, it did not work. We tried the key to the front door. It did not work. We knocked, but there was no answer. We left a note. It was midday in Tucson summer hot. We went to the loft to see a movie. Sitting in the dark of the air-conditioned theater, slurping Cokes and munching popcorn, we tried to forget our worries, but there was this uncertainty, this unease. After the show, I used a payphone to call the house again. This time, I got the answering machine. There were a dozen messages. A few from me, most from the owners. They heard about the blackout. Is everything okay? They're worried. Call back as soon as possible. They still haven't heard from us. They're leaving Montana to drive to Tucson. They're in Wyoming. They're in Utah. They're crossing into Arizona. They're calling the police. Yost and I are jet-lagged, sweaty, and full of dread as we drive back to the house. The owners open the door and come outside. We're standing together under the brutal sun. They are not happy. The man has a handgun and a holster on his hip. The wife looks strung out, stays silent. He explains in a few sentences what happened. They arrived home to find pizza boxes and beer cans inside the big house. Sean had thrown a party. Sean and his friends left. We did not ask for details. He told us to get off their property immediately. We said we were very sorry. We asked, "Can we get our stuff?" He said 15 minutes. We threw our things in garbage bags, tossed them in the car, and zoomed down the dusty road, looking over our shoulders like in a Hollywood Western. For years, I could not tell this story to anyone because it made me feel sick. Yost and I rarely mention it to each other, but deliberately avoided a large section of Pima County where the house is located. When Yost's father died, we knew we'd been right to make the trip. When the documentary, Enron, the Smartest Guys in the Room, came out, we learned how the company intentionally caused the rolling blackout to manipulate the energy market as part of a massive fraud. When I became a mom, I realized how lucky it was that nobody got shot. When Sean emailed Yost asking for a job recommendation, Yost said, "No, Sean." When our kids were teenagers, I told them this story as a everyone makes mistakes lesson. One daughter said our mistake was not telling the owners we were going out of town. The other kid said, "You did not commit any crime." When I was writing this story for Fist, I was right back. I remembered how excruciating it felt when it happened and how ashamed I was for years. Then our family started discussing it openly from fresh perspectives, digging around the experience in a way we could not before. Yost and I, for the first time, asked ourselves why we did not tell the owners we were leaving. Simple. We were young. We knew it would be a big deal. We were replaceable as house sitters. It was a good gig, and we wanted to keep it. But there were other reasons. We did not like the homeowners. With their paranoia, their guns, racism, the patronizing shoulder squeeze. And we were newlyweds who had not yet learned how to call each other out or call ourselves in. I was a conscientious person. I am a conscientious person. But now that I'm on the other side of menopause, I am less worried about whether other people see me as good. Through the process of writing, discussing, and sharing this story with trusted people, I feel different. As somebody said, all's well that ends well. Not as in whatever, but as in it was a long time ago. Nobody got hurt. I forgive myself, and hey, 30 years later, it makes a good story.